Football is the game. La, la, la. We are finally back on the air. It's the start of the Premier League today. This is the Friday Soccer Paycheck. I am Stephen Murray, America's first and only podcast on the English Premier League and the English Championship. And looking forward to all the games ahead for this opening weekend of the English Premier League. We have 1 week in the books for the championship, as everybody has played one game there. I don't even think there's a reason to look at the tables. We'll kind of go through things and recap how people did last week. But, you know, you kind of ask yourself the question coming into these new seasons, okay, is it going to be a slugfest? Are these games going to be boring? Are they going to be, 1-0, 0-0, whatever? And with the championship at least, and the lower leagues below that, we had definitely a fair amount of scoring for what was offered on the table. A lot of teams did just get one goal, but a lot less goose eggs than you would imagine. And we'll see how the Premier League will stack up compared to the championship in that regard this weekend. I'm going to be honest with you straight off the bat. We want to do this program every week, and not to say that I'm ill prepared to give you my best soccer plays, but you just don't know the first month or so. If you look at these transfers of players coming in and players going out and new players on teams, it is a mountain of changes. And so who knows really at the end of the day what you're going to get. You got all kinds of players, probably on seaside teams or whatever the case may be, getting put on loan. But, our man Trossard from Arsenal, gone. He's playing. He's not even in the league. He's playing for a Berlichen or somebody like that, and some other European Union. Anthony Gordon, good player, right, for Newcastle, gone. All right, from Newcastle. Newcastle had a bunch of changes. So what can we go off of, really? Tottenham, a million changes. These teams who got promoted, Hull, let's see, Coventry, who's in action right now with Arsenal, and we'll get an updated score on that here in just a second. Because I'm trying to find out if I go to the main ESPN page, trying to get the EPL up right off the bat. It's not the easiest thing to do as far as scores go. But Arsenal, yes, they are on top of newcomer Coventry right now, 3-0. It was 2-0 at halftime. Goals by Havertz. If you have Kai Havertz's first goal of the year, you won that. Bukayo Saka with goal number 2. And then who scored the third one here? Let's see if we can find that. Martin Odegaard. So the trio of superstars right there. And again, no Trossard, one of my favorite players over the years, gone from the EPL. I can't even bet on him for his goals. Like 2 ships passing far in the distance at the night. Off he goes into the horizon, never to be seen again, maybe here in the English Premier League. But Arsenal commanding 3-0 lead at home, 3-0 lead at home over Coventry, the newcomer and the best team in the championship last season. But Coventry with a ton of new faces and old faces gone. What do they even have? So, I mean, that just must be awkward with the changeover of personnel. You get promoted. All right, we earned our spot to the Premier League. And then everyone you look around at in the locker room is basically essentially gone, you feel like, the next season. And you're looking around like, how did I get on this team? And if you're new to the team, like, how did I get onto this team that got promoted to the EPL? And everybody else is new as well. It just must be a little strange. Oh, and then, seeing the big lights of Arsenal as your first opponent, only the defending champions. Probably, yes, Arsenal minus 2.5. They were heavy favorites, minus 550 on the money line. But Arsenal minus 2.5 was probably likely the bet, right? So what should be our goal for this week, considering we don't know much? We're just going to try to find, I think, 2 or 3 teams really to get to 2 goals. And let's just kind of take it from there and see what kind of ticket we can construct. I'll put everyone up for consideration as we go through. And we'll start with the lines. We go right to the top. Let's get to it. The great unknown of the English Premier League. And we'll start there. Again, 3-0 Arsenal over Coventry. Tomorrow morning, the other newcomer, Hull, who I've heard by a few saying this may be the worst Premier League team of all time, Hull. And they're nothing like the team that did them. So Hull was a great team for us last year in the championship. Man, they pulled out all kinds of wins. We had them at big odds to win the championship. And they were right up there kind of until the end. And then they reverted back and ended up in the playoffs. And then ended up in winning that controversial kind of decision, not on their end, but Middlesbrough getting this denied for cheating or something. So getting disqualified basically was their deal before the third place team could be promoted to the Premier League. So Hull, they get in and they'll get a nice visit from Manchester United, who was one of the better teams last year. And if you look at the transfers coming in, Man United may be one of the better ones without knowing too much about a lot of the players. I was able to recognize some of the Man United stuff. So probably a rightful minus 290 favorite here. And if Hull's going to be the worst team of all time, then maybe we want to take Man United here with their 2 goals. Let's see what they're paying. The away team over 1.5 is at minus 250. Let's just go ahead and throw it on there, because even at minus 250, that's going to enhance our play so much more, especially if we're going to use some sort of a profit boost here, as many of you will get a soccer profit boost. So Man United will throw on without knowing too much, just knowing that Hull should be really, really bad, and that Man United does bring back some decent amount of talent, and adding to it maybe as well. Minus 250 at over 1.5 goals for Man United makes sense. And that's it, guys. Let's just keep it simple. 1.5 goals. We'll try to get a few of these teams to 2 goals. Ipswich and Sunderland. All right, so they're basically a fall from glory many years ago. They end up all the way down to League One, and then found promotion all the way back up to the EPL, and they did really good last year and hung around and basically earned their spot right back in here again as a mid-level team last season. So Sunderland is plus 160. They'll play Ipswich, which has been playing the yo-yo effect. They've been going up, going down, going up, going down, coming back up again for their 3rd chance, I think now in 5 years for Ipswich. And they are one of the favorites to get relegated to go back down again. So the 3 teams who came up were all the favorites to get relegated: Coventry, Hull, and now Ipswich. But Ipswich, small underdog at home here. And two teams we're just not too exactly sure about. So I think this is going to be one of those passes here at the end of the day. Nottingham Forest and Leeds, a 10 a.m. Eastern kickoff, as is the Ipswich and Sunderland. And if there's another match to stay away from with all the roster turnovers, Nottingham Forest and Leeds would be the two. So we'll start watching these teams, start seeing what you like about them, and we'll put together better opinions as far as who we like in our portfolio closer to, like, October 1st would be about a good time. See if we can find a couple teams to try to ride it out and keep us, other teams maybe to keep us prospects for the long term. So that will be the goal here for us as we bet this season in soccer. No play on Northampton or Leeds. Can Crystal Palace rebound from their poor play last year? And the answer would be, of course they can, if all their new players coming in who had nothing to do with that team are decent. On the other hand, Everton, who is one of the better teams, looks like they have a lot of turnover as well, as every one of these. That none of these teams have a shortage of ins and outs for transfers. I'll say that. I mean, that is the long list everywhere you look for the most part. Everton there as well. I'm not prepared to take anything in this game. Everton, you would think, would be your natural favorite from last year because Palace was bad. But again, we don't know the players. You're almost best in these kind of affairs like Sunderland, Ipswich, Leeds, Nottingham, Crystal Palace, Everton. Just take the higher payout on the side if you want that, or even the draws probably could be attractive as well. If you have to play some sort of an angle, I would just give the benefit to the doubt to a lot of these teams. Here's one team I think we can take for 2 goals at home. And it's the same thing that we saw on the with Man United, is the fact that Brentford, you can kind of recognize a few of their transfer ins. And they didn't seem to lose too much overall, where Tottenham looks like a whole nother team again. And Tottenham barely, by their very skin of their teeth, were able to avoid disastrous relegation. Disastrous is beyond the right word, to be honest. If they were to be relegated last year, that would have been one of the biggest sports stories here in the 2000s, the last 25 years or so. But Tottenham, they stay up, and now they will go to Brentford. And Brentford just consistently good, especially at home. Kind of like what they did in the transfer window a little bit. So I think we take Brentford to get to 2 goals. So we'll throw them on the list. Home team over 1.5. Brentford is even money plus 100. So now we have that, and we have Man United, and that pays plus 180. All right. Brighton and Aston Villa. Aston Villa is getting plus 210 at Brighton, and Aston Villa finished 4th last year. So this is a weird priced game where Brighton really is the favorite by some heavy margin over a team that they finished below last season. So what does that say? I mean, really, you probably want to look towards Brighton, but I mean, do you want to really trust that sort of thinking right now? I don't think that you do. Ollie Watkins is questionable, but I do see him listed here as a goal scorer. And then, no Yuri Tielemans for Aston Villa. Just a lot of new names. Just a lot of new names here across the board. There's a Matty Cash sighting. All right. So do we want to, again, if you want to do the blind game and just get a good payout, plus 210 for Aston Villa, they're probably going to be well coached, at least. At plus 210, a much better payout than Brighton at home. All right, Bournemouth are 5-1 dogs at Man City. Man City minus 210. I'm not prepared to take Man City here. Let's see what they have. Now this game is Sunday, 9 a.m. So you probably want to avoid this anyway if we want to keep our ticket strictly to Saturday and see how we do. Maybe we can come back with this game on Sunday. But I would take a chance potentially with Bournemouth here. Now, Man City is a lot of people's favorite to rebound and win the EPL this year. And Bournemouth overachieving probably in their last few years, really since they've been relegated. They've been doing very well for themselves and did very well for themselves last year, winning a number of good games on their behalf. So let's just kind of maybe see how this starts off as well. We'll get back to it next year. Liverpool with some alarming players. I mean, they had a lot of people leave too off of Liverpool. So what do we have with them as they were minus 115 favorites on Sunday at Newcastle? And again, I mentioned no Anthony Gordon for Newcastle. This team, a ton of turnover as well. So probably a no play. Liverpool probably is the better play because they have the better school and pedigree of soccer. But Newcastle at home, I mean, is a tough place to play. Fans really into it. Probably a fun game to watch. Let's try to learn about these two a little bit more Sunday morning as well. And then the final game, Chelsea and Fulham. Fulham plus 290. Chelsea minus 125 on Monday. The draw at plus 270. And I'll say this, Chelsea, a very mixed bag. Started off really good and ended really poorly last year. Players quit on their coach the rumors there, but they had so much talent too, which is kind of the unexplainable thing. They've brought in some key players I noticed on their transfers, and a couple other players are out, like Cucurella. He is gone. He is real gone. He went to Real Madrid. And again, a lot of these teams here in the EPL with dispatching their players, they're not going to other EPL teams. They're going to other places across Europe or wherever they're playing across seas or South America, potentially. But Chelsea, it looks like they've added for the better. Maybe that's kind of my slight opinion on them. So we'll do two plays in the EPL. We'll go away team over 1.5 goals with Man United, and we'll go home team over 1.5 goals with Brentford. Okay, let's take a look at the championship. How about this? Erling Haaland, is he? What am I missing here with Haaland? I do not see him on the top goal scorer. Is he not even on Man City anymore? I mean, is this how bad my soccer knowledge is? That Haaland has disappeared or gone to a new team? That can't be the case, right? I know he's up here. They just don't have him on the goal list. Why would he not be on the leading goal scorer list? Is that the right list I'm looking at for the futures here? I was trying to go to the championship, but I saw EPL futures, and I decided to tap on that as we were in the 73rd minute with Arsenal and Coventry, and it is still 3-2-0. All right, we'll disregard the futures for now with the Premier League. All right, the championship. And they've gotten into the rhythm of having 3 games at 7:30 a.m. Eastern on Saturday morning. And that's what I see here. Okay. Birmingham and Bristol City. We will pass on that game. That's the 7:30 game. Millwall, Norwich. We had under in the Millwall game last week. They won 2-0. Norwich didn't do much. Norwich is one of our teams we like to play on last year. Millwall at home here after winning nice last week. We'll just kind of pass on them this week. I don't want to trust them for 2 goals either. Lincoln and Portsmouth, 2 new teams. Portsmouth has been part of the yo-yo effect here, going down, coming back up. And Lincoln, this is the first time we've had to deal with these guys. This will be a pass. Swansea was on our list last week. They got 2 goals for us, and they'll play Sheffield United. Swansea with some good talent as well, plus 140 at home. Let's take a shot at them. Why not? We need a couple teams to throw on this list, so we'll take Swansea, the home team, the Welsh side, plus 126 to get to 2 goals against Sheffield United. And, Sheffield started off really good and ended poorly last year. A team that was good last year and has been in bad form lately and in the preseason and only got the 1 goal for us last week is Derby. And they'll play Cardiff. So Cardiff is they newly up as well. No, that would be Bolton. Cardiff is they've either been down or up here. So I think Cardiff. I think Portsmouth was around last year, and Cardiff is the newcomer. But they've been yo-yoing in the opposite seasons here, so I'm just merging this all together as in each the same are both of those teams, to be honest. Anyway, just spelled differently. But Derby minus 105, Cardiff plus 290. Do we take a shot with Derby at home over 1.5 goals? I don't know. We might want to just sit there and watch them for a week. If we need to add another, we'll come back to it. I think this is the one we want to hit, though. Blackburn is hosting Middlesbrough. Blackburn gave up 2 goals. Actually, Stoke gave up the 2 goals to Swansea. But Middlesbrough should be better than Blackburn. And Middlesbrough over 1.5 goals. They got there late. You had to kind of sweat it at home. But they did get their 2nd goal. Plus 110. We'll throw it on the list for now. Maybe we come back. QPR and Bolton. QPR with a nice win last week. They're at home, minus 115. Bolton is that 3-1. And we had Bolton actually to get 2 goals against Preston to start the day last Saturday. And they were able to do that. On the road here, we'll pass. Preston and the Wolves. Preston plus 310. The Wolves are at minus 130. Let's see here. Raul Jimenez back for the Wolves. How about that? And they got Chan still, who's a nice player. And Mateus Mane, not too bad as well. Let's see. Do we take the Wolves for 2 goals? Might as well. Let's do it. They should be kind of the favorite to go back up. All right, now we got a nice little paying ticket here. We'll be lucky if this hits. West Ham and Charlton. Charlton, one of the worst teams last year. West Ham, newly relegated from the Premier League. Names to note still on West Ham. Joe Perot, we like him. Castellanos, interesting. Thomas Socek, still there. There's a James Ward-Prowse sighting as well. Jared Bowen, okay, still on West Ham. So this should be an experienced side over Charlton. And we could probably take, I would say, West Ham for 2 goals, I would think. They're at home here. Probably the better team for sure. Charlton was not a good team last year. Let's see, home team over 1.5 goals. Is this not up for us yet? Oh, yeah, here we go. Minus 225. Look at that. I said we'd be hard-pressed for picks, and we have 6, so maybe we'll weed out 1 or 2. Wrexham and Watford. Wrexham, good story for them. Almost getting to the EPL last year, not quite. Watford played one of the better games last week. So is this 2 of the better teams in the league playing? We will pass and pay attention to this tomorrow. Southampton is home against Stoke. Southampton should be decent. Stoke lost to Swansea at home 2-1. And Southampton's someone we want to put on the 2-goal list. Let's see. Let's pass on that for now. We'll pay attention to Southampton and see how good they do. And one last game Sunday morning, 7 a.m., Burnley and West Brom. All right, 2 teams who've been out to the upper flight before, but have been stuck down here in the championship now for a couple of seasons anyway. West Brom a little bit longer than Burnley. I think this will be a pass. We'll just have to see how they play. That's a early game Sunday. If you're up and need some action and you're listening to our or getting ready to listen to our show, the Round Robin, talking all the NFL stuff this Sunday, you can watch that game and prepare for our program. Okay, so we have 6 plays on the slate here. We have over Man United, 1.5 goals. Let's keep that against Hull. We have Brentford against Tottenham. Let's keep that. Now we need to weed out a couple. We have West Ham against Charlton. I think we got to keep that one. Let's get rid of Middlesbrough against Blackburn. Let's keep the Wolves over Preston. I'll give you all the option. If you want to keep Swansea over Sheffield because they got 2 goals last week, this 5-game parlay pays just about 16 to 1. Put your 30% boost on it, and it will round it up to almost $2,000 if you're going to go ahead and slap 100 down. Probably what I'll do, if you want to keep it a little simpler, you can get plus 635 over 1.5 goals each. Hull, Brentford, the Wolves, West Ham, 3 home teams. The Wolves on the road at Preston, who gave up 2 goals last week. All right. That might be the simplest model right here. And then throwing on Swansea over 1.5 would be a little bit of a creamer. Maybe play these 4 and then play another bet, adding the 5th with Swansea. All right. We'll cue up the Tottenham fans. That's it. Nice and simple. Here on the Friday Soccer Paycheck. 30 minutes, in and out. The Round Robin live all fall long. NFL football. Sunday mornings. Starting at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. While we're in the preseason, we'll start at 8 a.m. Big fantasy week this weekend. We'll start making some picks on some props as well for the season. So, right here on YouTube on the Deep End Broadcasting Network. Join us back for Sunday Live or to replay anytime after that. This program available for replay as soon as we stop. All right, guys. Good luck in your EPL.